Today is the day I work on a lot of things that are wrong with the Corvette. To start, the heater core. That's been a problem since I bought it back from when I was 16. All right, so I just got this back a while ago. Go check out these videos of me picking it up. But that heater core in Florida shouldn't have been a problem, but because of the humidity and the windows fogging up, I can't defrost anything or get air to defrost my windows. So driving with my head out the window like in Dumb and Dumber just doesn't work, okay? So it's time to start taking apart that dash, taking apart the bread box, and tackling that. But along with that, I'm also gonna figure out why my speakers don't work. The radio turns on, but all you get is static. So let's tackle that while we're at it. And there's a lot of other while you're in there type of projects that we're gonna tackle. But the main part is that heater core. How hard can it be? Let's start taking things apart. The heater core sits down in here, and what I did was I just bypassed it, and this has been great. But in those mornings, excuse the hard water on this, but in those mornings when I need this to clear up, I'm looking out nothing. So it's not safe. It's time to start getting this thing back on the road and safely. So we're going to start by taking the heater core out and replacing it, which means the dash has to come out, the bread box has to come out, and a few other things over here that all have to come out. Let's do it. Just a few screws, right? Inside the Corvette, we do have some screws down here, and there's some screws back up in here. Now, there's not too many. There's a few here, 1, 2. You just kind of have to find them, 3, 4, and a few up over here to take the side out so we can slide this out. There's just not too many. Again, a few here. And just being careful because this plastic is really old, really fragile. There are some cracks already. I'm going to start replacing all of this and fixing all of it. But let's start by just kind of piece by piece taking this apart safely, and so I don't cause any more damage because, well, enough has already been done. I was able to get all the surrounding screws from this. Now I can already tell this piece right here is cracked along the side. I'll probably try to fix that. This rubber thing was holding this in, so this wouldn't come forward without this being removed, okay? And then the headlights, that had this knob on it, and you can't just pull, so I had to use this pick to go in here to depress that to get it to slide right off. Don't pull too hard because you don't want anything to break. So now that all that's there, all this wants to come off. Now to get this off, we're gonna have to take off the column tilt and tilt this all the way down. I got the dash off, and a few things. All that rubber is all gone, and then look what we see in here. Broken glass. Makes you wonder what that's from. And then I see some broken pieces here and up there. So I'm going to try to fix all that. I got that really awesome bond. I also see some really rotted window trim. Get some new one of that. So, and a lot of dust. I mean, this thing is an 88, so it's getting really old, and I just turned 100,000 miles. Let's continue moving this. I'm going to get the center off, bread box, and then all these screws back there, right there, hold this top panel on. So once this is off, we'll clean it up, get those painted up so they're not purple, and just kind of keep chipping away at this. Just like that, the top of the dash is out. You cannot forget the 2 screws that go up here into this vent. Once those are out and everything else is out, you literally just pull it towards you very gently. It's sitting over there. And now we're gonna get this bread box out right here. There's a few bolts up top. We're gonna snag that out, pull that out, start opening up this dash so we get to see where this heater core that's sitting right back here is sitting. So let's get this out next. This bread box has some bolts holding it on, all right? So there's 7mm. One is right here. Can I focus? Let's see. One's right here. One's right here. And then we have some from underneath, but we have to take off the 7mm bolts You see that? 7mm bolts underneath this plastic shield. Take off the light, and then we can start getting to the bread box bolts. As you can see here, this is where all my coolant and all of that stuff that went through the heater core was leaking out because my floor was super wet. That was kind of part of my idea, or part of my reasoning why I knew the heater core was bad. So this all got wet. Of course, I've dried it out. I've been driving it, and well, this is just more telltale signs. So we're going to clean all this up. Just wanted to show, and I'm missing a lot of bolts. So all these little 7mm bolts that hold the red box and the bottom shield. Maybe go pick up a few extras if yours is as bad as mine. But let's keep going. Still working on getting this out. I already broke this that went right here. I got this one loose. I took off the 7mm bolt that holds this bracket on up here because we have this AC tube. So now that that's out, and there's one right here, this 7mm that goes this way to hold this plastic in. So now that all this is loose, I should be able to just pull this out so I can get behind here some more to take out these bottom bolts. With this out of the way, this just fed behind. I think I was supposed to take this off, slide it off. Well, it just came with it. This is where that 7mm bolt slid behind. And you just, it's an accordion really here. So just pull this way, comes off. That's where it attached to right back there. Snuck around here, through here, and came out here. You can kind of see this big open void now. So now I should have a little bit more room to get to these bolts back here to take this off. That'll open up this whole dash. You can already start to see where back here where the heater core is. So I don't know, it's just taking off bits and pieces without breaking too many things. Right, so I took the bread box off, but I had to break these tabs. There was just no way to get this thing off. There's no way to get this one back. You can't get back there with the thing here. I mean, there's just no way. So with that said, I also found a little bit of a dead animal, and yeah, we're gonna work on getting these off now the proper way, and then I'm gonna figure out if I can get one of those bread box delete kits put back on. I saw they were out of stock like everywhere, so if you know of a link or a place to get one of those flat panel ones, hook this guy up. While I'm at it, I decided to take out the passenger seat. All it is 4 13mm bolts. You just kind of have to adjust the seat. I have automatic seats, power seats, so you just have to move the seat back and forth, left and right, up and down, to be able to expose these bolts, and then just lift it right out. Kind of glad I did, because this is disgusting. So, man, kind of in awe, just kind of now seeing it with you guys, along with the dead animal and what looks like a lot of crap. We're gonna clean all this up. So let's continue to work on this. This is a side project, so stay tuned for all of this, but let's keep pressing forward on getting this out. It is now time to take out the ECU. We have the 2 black bolts right there and 2 more on the other side. I did just disconnect the black terminal, so the negative on my battery, and I'm going to work on getting these 2 out. Looks like I'm going to need an extension and potentially a swivel. So let me work on getting these out. What we're looking at underneath the dash here are these bolts here, and I need to get those out, but the heater core sits behind this black plastic thing, but I also have this vent that's in the way. So I'm going to take off that piece right there, that screw. I don't know if there's another one. It looks like it's just sitting right there. Hopefully I can get this off. Then this tube comes up the dash right here and comes out to this. So I already took this off. I don't know if I needed to, but I did. But we're going to take that 7mm bolt out and see how much further we can get. So far there's 4 bolts hanging onto that cover that holds the heater core, right? I was able to get the 3 off, but there's one that is up here, back there, and down in there. And there's no way to get to it. However, what I found, guys, best trick, I got my really little one, with my 7mm. This is probably about a foot long, and I fed it up through the bottom here, under there, under that metal piece, and it fits on there. Now my head is jammed up here, trying to make sure that I stay seated, but that is the best way that I found how to do it. So go from underneath, under the metal bar, and seat it on the bolt way back down in there. All right, my next thing is I got to get this metal crossbar off. I was hoping to try to see if we could do it without. Can't. Pull the bottom. Well, here's the heater core cover that we were battling with, and this is the blend door actuator where this plastic piece right there clips in with that rod, and that's what was holding this whole thing up. Now I have climate control in mine, so mine is a little bit different than all you guys that have the slider heat to cool. You can just tell by the back of this how much antifreeze was leaking out of this poor thing. So this is just going to go in order. A lot of these parts like this you can't buy anymore. This you can't buy from GM anymore. There's a guy that makes it for $20 for this little thing. There's a lot of things with this car that we just can't buy anymore, so it's very imperative we take our time, try not to break anything. So between this looking like garbage, the kick panel full of antifreeze, we definitely have a lot of cleanup to do, but we are working on getting all of this out. And now we can see the heater core. The heater core is out. Now this little bracket goes along the bottom here and holds it in place. You can tell this thing has seen better days. That is for sure. Luckily, we can still buy the heater core, so I'm not worried about having to buy a new one, but all these other little incidental pieces like this and this, you just can't buy. So this is good.